change directions. What does that mean? That means people don't change, seasons do. People don't change, seasons do. People don't change and seasons do. Let me see, better. What is better? What do we think is better? We as selfish, greedy, grievous, money-hungry, and pleasure-seeking individuals, we're always trying to get the situation conducive to what is better, what we perceive as better. So in our attempt to try to produce something that is better, we are missing the idea that sometimes these situations will appear as beastly. And the worst situation can be the best situation, Betsy. 2, 5, 1, 2. What do we have? We have, what's that, a 5? Can be the best of situations. Now that 10 indicates to me, goes back to the first page, the 10 is the Wheel of Fortune in tarot cards, okay? The Wheel of Fortune says you're changing directions all the time. You're not going to be on the top all the time. Sometimes you're going to be on the bottom. Sometimes you're on the sides. You know, it's not much activity, doesn't look like, that's going on. But there's activity all the time going on, just like there's roots to a tree that you can't see that tree grows tall. Anyway, so we're going to go back and say, borned. I like that word. Borned. Okay, the heart of the beast is conflict. Again, the heart of the beast is conflict, but the conflict is in yourself. It is not in the other person. You have asked for the experience. In the Bible, the words were, shut the Bible so I couldn't possibly turn it back there. Now, but if you believe, all things are possible. If you believe. But what are you supposed to believe? Not the ideas that you have in your head. You've got to believe that in the beast of situations and with those relationships that seem bad, I'm trying to see borrowed and born. We're going to see what that is. In those relationships and times that there's so much conflict and internal drama and looks like dissolution of your own self, you're going to borrow, and what was the other one? Born. Even though I put an ED on it. Let's see what these are. Okay, borrow. Borrow to me, you know, is superficial. But let's see. Okay, let's see if it is. We got a 12. So we got some anger going on there. And we got some stuckness going on there. And we got some resistance going on there. All right? So when we're trying to conceive of an idea of how we think a relationship ought to be, that's a borrowed experience. You remember when I started the show and I said, whatever's going to happen is woven together? I'm not going to borrow something and make this moment or these 10 minutes or 60 minutes turn into something I want it to be. I don't have a clue as to what I want it to be. Therefore, I can't possibly have any anger about how it turns out or doesn't turn out, and I'm not stuck if whatever comes from it. Okay, anyway, 12. And then we got 11, 25. Wow, Mitzi. 25. That's God's number again. 7, but anyway, what do we got? For those of you who have been watching my show, you know that 37 is a very magical number. Of course, all numbers are magical, but especially 37. So we have these experiences. We have these experiences. See, I'm standing here in front of a board with a Sharpie in my hand on television. I'm having an experience. Do I have an idea about it? I can't possibly have an idea about the experience, or it would be borrowed. So I must know that the personality of this particular situation is God's number, using it for something from his or her, its level, to transform. Because we're always being transformed. We're always having to change directions. Now, if that were not so, Mitzi, if we didn't have to change directions, then when I left from here today and I kept walking straight, there's no possible way that I would get home. Because wherever which way I'm going to go, I've got to change directions at some point. We're always changing directions. No matter how much we want to think, I'm the same, I've got it together, nothing's going to happen, everything happens. Okay, born. 5. Again, born. Conflict. Same heart as the other word that ever had, what were we talking about that had conflict in it? In the 6. Let's find it. Conflict. Oh, beast. Beast. So born and beast. Wow. That's something to think about, isn't it? For every situation that is born and person, the conflict comes with it. The conflict is in the beast that's in ourselves. I think the Bible says we're evil from the day we were born. Wow. Okay. What are we breaking down? 6. 11 and 7. 13. So here we have the transformation in the word born that occurs with death. Now that's a whole story within itself. The whole story within itself. We are born to transform, or another word, which is 13, which I just said. We are born to die. Now, how many of us know how to die properly? How many of us give it a thought in the run of a day, except that we don't want it to occur, even though we don't know what it is. But we know we don't want it to come. We don't want it to come for us. We don't want it to come for our loved ones. We do everything that we can to prevent it, as if we can. We can't prevent that any more than we can prevent being born. So born is to die properly. What does that mean? Not to borrow your experience while you're alive. To take, I think I've said this on another show. If I didn't, I'm going to say it today. Wring out every ounce of the juice of life. Wring it out. Don't hold back. Okay. Hearing the words buried within yourself that need to be addressed. Wow. Now, how would we do that? How would we hear the words we need to hear? Because we constantly walk around with them in our own minds, what we think that we need to hear. But the problem with that, those words are filtered. Those words are colored. Those words, there it is. We're going to get to this one, Mitzi. Those words are biased. Those words are conditioned. And I'm hearing those words are bartered. Okay. So we can't possibly rely on the words that are within our own mind. So we have to confront the beast that appears to be in some other person when we have an argument or a confrontation or a battle or a fight or a disagreement. We have to confront. There you go. There was that. Because you're conning yourself into believing that the other person is doing something or saying something to hurt you. But anyway, you're needing to confront that person so that you can hear the words that you have so biased within yourself. That's the second time I've done that today. With that A, it's trying to jump down here. I might leave off this ED because bias might be enough. But anyway, let's go with it. 10, and we've got 2, 3, 8, 12. Woo! No, I'm not going to leave it off. So we are 1, 9, 10, and 11, 15, 19. Let me do it again. Biased. 2. That's a 2. 3, 8, 4. It's 12. Where did I come up with 19? 22. That's a master number. Which means that we are all biased individuals. We are all biased individuals. You don't believe it? You want to say that's not true? See, I'm biased. I love this stuff. I love it. It is part and parcel of who I am. And I love imparting it to you. So my biases are going to come through that filter. The color of this show is going to be racked with all of these things that I love. That's the same thing with you. Everything you do and say and are and be are biased from your particular story, where you've been, where you've come from. Now let's see why, and that's a 22 too I'm talking about. I'll remember that from now on. Okay, let's do barter. Barter. 2. The heart of barter is that 6, is that conflict. Once again, 11, 13, 22. The personality of barter is that master number. It's the builder. I've got to do that too, Betsy. There comes these B words everywhere today. Okay, so we've got a 28. I love 28. It's my favorite number. 28. It's also a 10. How I'm getting these numbers, I'm adding them together. For those of you who don't know, I'm adding them together. So this says, again, the Wheel of Fortune. And it's also change directions. Change directions. Barter. So, if I'm bartering with you, if I'm having a yard sale and you're coming to me and I've got something for $5 and you want it for $3, then we're going to be bartering, I suppose, because I'm supposed to change directions and give it to you for $3. Maybe. Okay, let's see. What else? We're going to, let me see what this chart says today. I did a chart before I left. So we have, what do we have going on? Gosh, we have Libra rising. We have a moon in Taurus. We have a moon in Taurus, so there's a lot of resistance and stubbornness, and of course, I'm only dealing with those things that would inhibit our bartering and also inhibit our beliefs that we can be better or worse than what we are. Okay, we have Jupiter in Cancer. So we've got a lot of things that are having to do with the home and family on this day. Now let's choose another book, see what we can, oh, Missy, I completely forgot to do this. I always do this. I always pull something out of this, I might pull a rabbit out, who knows, out of all this. But anyway, I always pull something. I usually do it at the beginning of the show. Well, something fell out. I'll use that one too. But let's, gonna use something, let's get one. All right. Let's see what we're gonna do. How does this apply? When encountering a person or a place you think you know so well or are so familiar with, suspend assumptions. I think that's what we're talking about today, getting rid of those ideas, having an open belief to receive something. So, suspend assumptions. Now, how in the world can you suspend assumptions? How do you do that? How do you encounter your daughter, your mate, your mother, your friend, your career, your boss? How do you meet him or her as if you've never seen that person before? How do you do that? Because that's the only time that you're not borrowing an experience. That's the only time. And that is the only time